Welcome to the CyberSangha podcast. CyberSangha is a program of free live broadcasts, launched in 2009 by renowned teacher and author Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche. Join us as we draw on ancient Tibetan wisdom to discover how to connect with our best self and live to our highest potential. The following conversation, Inner Smile of the Heart, Part 2, Being in Tune with Cardiac Coherence, happened on November 6, 2026, as a science and spirituality dialogue with Guy Desbiolles and Alejandro Chaoul. This was part of a year-long series of dialogues from 2024. This content is for informational purposes only. Listeners should consult medical professionals for any physical or mental health concerns. Please use headphones and do not meditate while driving or operating machinery.
Welcome everyone to CyberSangha. My name is Alejandro Chaoul and I'm going to be the host today. Again with Guy Desbiolles on this Inner Smile of the Heart, Part 2, and being in tune with cardiac coherence. And before I introduce Guy, let me first say thanks to everyone that makes this possible. And of course, first and foremost, Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche, who created CyberSangha as a cyberspace for an opportunity to get together, even if we are in different places, and get different teachings, different dialogues. And so a wonderful way, being trained in Tibetan monastery and coming to the West, really seeing what we needed and creating this. And particularly, I guess, for those of us living in the States and after the elections, whichever way you were supported, there's clearly some energies going on. So, and particularly, I think at the heart level. So this might be what Guy brings today, might actually bring very, very helpful. I've known Guy for many, many years, and he is someone wonderful in the terms of both the area of science and spirituality. He received his master's degree in physical chemistry with a focus in quantum chemistry and physical methods applied to chemical analysis. And then he went on to teach math, physics, chemistry, and he served as an energy therapist for the last 3 decades, including working with energy balance, Metatron bioresonance diagnosis and treatment, and heart math, cardiac coherence, which is at the heart, if I may say, of what we're doing today. And he has studied Tibetan Buddhism since 1985 and practiced in the Bön tradition since 2009. He's actually an instructor of our Ligmincha Francois Romand and brings his interest and expertise in science in dialogue with the Dharma. To make this whole, we have Milos on the technical side, we have Poli, we have so many people behind the scenes, and I want to thank everyone for making this happen. And I also want to share that one of the other things that we do, as many of you participate, is the 24-hour full moon practice, and the next one comes up on Friday, November 15th, so hope you can join us. So with that, welcome, Guy. It's great to have you back here, and happy to, looking forward to what you're going to tell us. So welcome. I'm just going to mention a few things that I think, as we discussed, that you may bring so the audience is aware. And some of the audience has been longtime practitioners, some are new, and so everyone is welcome. And I know Guy prepared this presentation for all, but it will include particularly these breathing general remarks and how we talk about the 3 levels of breath, or lung, as we call it in Tibetan, and kind of how we observe our body, how we get to the heart, and different aspects of coherence. So with that, I'm going to let Guy take it, and I may interject once in a while. Otherwise, we'll just enjoy and all have cardiac coherence. Yi, for you.
Okay. Thank you, Alejandro. Thank you, everybody behind, and welcome, everyone. So in accordance with Rinpoche's wishes, today's session will be devoted to practice. I'll simply guide the practice from the very beginning and visit the different aspects from personal to global coherence. As we said in the first session, cardiac coherence is a state in which all the body's systems work in harmony, the conductor being the heart. For the heart to play this role effectively, it needs to be in a state of coherence, characterized by a high and regular variability in heart rate. When we bring it into this state of coherence through simple breathing exercises, if we think in a year we breathe more than 3 million times, and how many of these breaths are conscious? Also, air is still free. It is important to have an oxygen-rich blood. So, breathing properly is very important also for our health. So we'll try to breathe more consciously. Let's try to breathe with more awareness. To begin, we can just do a very simple exercise. You can close your fists with the thumbs inside and simply breathe naturally, observing where the air goes. Then we keep the fists closed, but the thumbs are outside. Again, we breathe naturally and observe. And finally, we open our hands, rest them on the legs with the palms upwards, and we breathe deeply and observe. Have you noticed any differences? This simple exercise normally reveals 3 levels of the lungs. When the fists are closed and the thumbs are inside, it's the typical position that we are using when we have to fight, when you have to struggle. And also, the stress hormones increase. On the opposite, when you open your hands, we naturally breathe deeper and we can access to a greater calmness. And the well-being hormones increase. So that's a very, very simple exercise that we can do when we are in a hurry or whatever, remembering to breathe very deeply and slowly. But this simple exercise also shows the importance of the body posture. So for the next part, you can sit in the five points posture if you know it, or find a comfortable position. The most important point is The spine should be straight and the shoulders open. And from now on, we'll try to keep our breathing gentle, slower, and deeper than usual. Next, we'll now observe the airways, the nostrils, the throat, and also the chest and the solar plexus. Are there any tensions? Can you feel blockages? Every day we do our toilet, but we very rarely think about the inward cleansing. Our emotional state, our thoughts, can influence our breathing, and in order to gain space and comfort, we can allow the breath to touch the affected areas, and when breathing out with the exhalation, we can evacuate tensions, everything that's bothering. And we can rest ever more deeply in the cleared space. For the one who knows, you can also practice the 9 breathing of purification. You can now try to bring to consciousness what you have discovered. Where are the tensions, blockages? Are there echoes in your head? Whatever, just recognize. And when we inhale, we allow the breath to touch these different aspects. And with the exhalation, we liberate and rest. It just takes some time to do that. Can you notice any changes? Is there more space? If so, it's important to recognize. So we simply continue with gentle, slow, and deep breathings. Now we'll try something else. You can rub the end of your fingers a little And then you can point your fingers at the wall, trying to feel something, roughness, whatever. Imagine you can feel it. Then you can point at a strong color and also feel sensations, the atmosphere. Then, if you can see it, you can point your fingers at the sky, or you can imagine to do it. And finally, you point your fingers at yourself. And now we bring our full attention to this precise place. Normally it's the heart. That's the place where we feel more ourselves. So we bring our full attention to the heart. And once you feel the connection has been established, you can imagine that our breathing will take place directly from the heart, as if the air were flowing in and out directly in front of us, like completely open. Keeping our attention in the heart area, we take gentle breath, slower, deeper than usual. Try to find a rhythm that suits you by breathing through the nose, with inhalations and exhalations of similar length. Let's practice for a while. We can also imagine breathing in the qualities we are lacking: comfort, peace, liberty, and breathing out everything that's bothering us. Let's take some time to do that. And with every breath, we rest deeper and deeper. Simply rest in an open, clear, and peaceful space. Maybe you can try to place your fingers on your wrist just to take your pulse and just check if you can feel any differences in the rhythm when you inhale or exhale. Maybe you can notice that the time intervals are shorter when you inhale and the opposite when you exhale. We are feeling the heart rate variability. That's what we can see directly if we have a sensor. But if we don't, like today, we can just check. Continue the deep breathings and rest deeper and deeper. Maybe this rhythm becomes natural, and you don't have to control anything. This heart breathing exercise can be practiced anywhere and at any time. With a little practice, it can be set up in a very short time. But of course, we have to train a little. You can do it at home, in the office, or during sessions, or even in a supermarket queue. Every occasion is good to practice, to become more and more familiar. Remember that our hearts are sending signals that might also help others to calm down. We can be a sort of tuning forks. That's a very important aspect for healthcare people, teachers, and for all who are in contact with others. Can you imagine some situations where you could try to practice it? Also, in our first session we said that the physical heart loves the intrinsic qualities of the energetic heart, like love, joy, gratitude, all the positive emotions. Well settled in the heart breathing, we can evoke a situation where we felt one of these qualities and rest in this atmosphere without trying or fabricating anything. Try to find a situation where it was comfortable, peaceful. Can be an image, a flower in the garden, a moment with your pet, whatever. Just try to have it clear in mind. And be open to receive this quality, nourishing you. Every time we inspire, imagine these qualities are flowing in. And when you can feel it, you can let this quality radiate around you. And finally, we can bring our full attention to the center of our heart. And we breathe slower, deeper, Maybe you can feel some warmth in the heart area. And slowly you can bring into awareness the presence of all the people who are connected here. Imagine we are all supporting each other. Imagine all the people in the different places. Settled in the deepest of our hearts, our awareness linked to the breath. We share the energies of the present moment. Though the cyberspace is a little strange, we are now all in that space. You are all hearing me. We are all connected and sharing energies. Feel the connection. Feel the warmth of the connection. In the shared space of the heart. This shared space of the heart is secure, warm, and luminous. Let's rest for a moment. And finally, we can offer the qualities of the practice to all the people who need it, without exception. Thank you for your presence. That's the kind of practices that we can learn to develop during the workshops we'll be offering in the forthcoming weeks. But you can, if you are motivated, you can register on using the link that will be given in the chat. We'll be working with small groups, up to 12. And once the groups will be formed, you will be informed and you'll receive the useful information.
Thank you, Guy. This is wonderful, and I hope many of you take advantage of the workshops that the Guy will be doing. Since I have you here, I had a question and you mentioned the cyber space, and you did last time the tuning fork. And I was thinking from your side, both as a physicist as well as a practitioner, when we have the tuning fork and we are in the same room, there's a sense of feeling of that vibration that might be, I think it's different than when we are here, like we did last time. How do you feel in terms of what we're doing, in terms of this cardiac coherence practice? In a way, it's beyond the space, or this shared space by Zoom or whatever platform supplies another way of reaching that vibration. But how do you feel the difference between doing it in person and doing it by Zoom?
Yes, of course, it's much stronger when we are in person. And it takes a little time to be familiar with the cyberspace. I mean, the first time Rinpoche asked me to guide a practice on Facebook, it was terrific, because at that time there was no Zoom, and it was impossible to see the people on the other side. So it was like practicing like in a black space, and it was very strange. But when I saw at the end the messages of the people in the chat, saying, "Oh, wonderful! It helped me for that and that and that." Slowly, you can get familiar with it, and it's no longer such a strong limitation. But sure, I'm convinced that in presence is much better and stronger.
Yes, and this is wonderful because as I think of in general of teachings, right? There's a sense of the coming together in person and the beauty of that, and yet the value of being able, when we can't be in person, of doing these kind of forums, and both are useful in terms of person. Sometimes I also feel that you mentioned familiarity, right? And in a way, meditation and familiarity are very connected. That sometimes as we know each other in person first, then able to, and kind of having experiences together, then being out and being by Zoom, that experience that we had together in person resonates more with the Zoom. Am I correct, or do you feel something different, or what can you say?
That's very interesting, because how can we connect to something? If you have a strong reference, like having been in real contact before, you can much easier connect with the person. But maybe it's also possible without knowing each other. And these experiments we've been speaking a little about in the first session, about these random number generators and this global consciousness project, they are just trying to show this, that it's possible to be connected and to have an effect. In the coming days, it will be interesting to see how the statistics of these number generators have reacted to the election in the US. And sure, we will see something, because it's such a strong moment for humanity. I think we will see something.
Yes, thank you. And I encourage everyone participating here to go to the workshop that Guy is offering. as you could feel today, a very special way of bringing similar aspects of what we do in our practices, but in a with a slight touch, right? On one hand, bringing some of the science of cardiac coherence, but also the practice there. So I welcome and encourage you to join. And also, in terms of that same feeling of cardiac coherence, I was thinking this morning actually of the groups that we do for full moon and the coming up on the 15th. And I share there in the chat how, seeing everyone in that chat, and, particularly, in like when I woke up this morning, like saying, oh, okay, we are, the feeling of being together, even if we're not even seeing each other physically, just this sense of resonating knowledge, which is very similar to when we connect to our teachers and we feel like, yeah, we're not in the same room, we're not even in Zoom, but I feel that connection. And the moments that you connect in person, like, I was with many recently in Nepal, and, met with Lopan, who's 99 years old, and seeing him again, I've been seeing him for 33 years. Every time there's a sense of resonance also in the heart. So.
Yes, and I think it's also for the full moon practice, it's so important to be aware of the practice during these 24 hours. I mean, you can be connected not only with the people who are doing this at the same time, but also for those who will be doing for the 24 hours. And if we are aware of that, it's more impacting. So our mind is just a kind of antenna, and we can tune it. So it's important to develop this a little bit so that the people get more familiar with this. If we say, yes, we are all connected to each other, okay, if it's only words, it's not the same thing. But if you learn slowly to feel that connection and to increase, that would be wonderful.
Yes.
Personally, I'm very much interested in the last aspect that we've been practicing. I mean, this aspect of global coherence is so important nowadays, because if everyone is struggling in his own corner without feeling the presence of the other, who are also trying to bring other values in the world or something like that, being aware of the presence of the others, it's a wonderful support. And I mean, also between the different sanghas, and so that's something that we can maybe develop.
Yeah, and I think that was, in a way, the intention from Rinpoche to create CyberSangha. But I also agree, and again, for those of you who participate in the full moon practice and those who don't but may want to join us, which is free, and you can join at any time in the 24 hours, it's just that the guidance will be in a different language. And I do actually personally, not only when I'm either guiding or when I'm in the session, in the first session that we start in the US, I love to drop in other sessions and even just be connected. And even sometimes, as you say, even if I'm not in Zoom, just knowing that this is happening and having kind of that antenna, as you said, or that tuning fork, it really kind of warms my heart. So yeah.
Oh yes, sure. I've tried I've been practicing the full moon during 3 years, and then I decided to let some space for someone else. But in the beginning, I was not on Zoom, but I tried to connect, and I could feel it quite, very clearly. And afterwards, I called the people and told her, and said, "Oh, it's been wonderful because I could feel you." It was, very nice to exchange.
Wonderful, wonderful. There's a a song that during my childhood in Argentina was quite famous, and it said, "Aunque no lo veamos, el sol siempre está," which is, even if we don't see it, the sun is always there. So, we could still be in tune. So again, thank you, Guy. Thank you, Milos and Poli and everyone. I encourage everyone to participate in the workshop that Guy is starting soon. And we'll see you in the full moon and in the other practices. Tune in, keep the antenna sharpened and clean so we can keep on being connected. Again, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Guy.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ale.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the CyberSangha podcast. If you'd like to learn more about CyberSangha, visit us online at cybersangha.net.